Not even a few minutes after the Mystics had taken flight, the dead, silent sea suddenly bubbled, as if boiling. A blanket of debris rose to the surface, with bits and pieces colliding and piling onto each other endlessly. Some mixed to form stable structures of sorts, creating islands that floated on the surface. A few of the existing spots Lion's party had believed to be islands were crushed and wiped off the face of the ocean by this rising tide. Phew, good thing we could fly. We would have ended up swallowed by all that debris. This expedition was engulfed by a sea of garbage shortly after their arrival and never to be seen again. Imagine if that were what the history book said. It would be the biggest laughingstock in the realm's history. Don't worry about that. If we did all die just now, there would be no one left to tell them how it happened. Doesn't really make it feel better. Thanks for trying, though. Same. I've been flying for more than half an hour now, but still haven't gotten past the wreckage yet. It's debris as far as the eye can see. I'd never seen anything like it, even during the War of the Sirens. At least sorted it all out and recycled it. Right. So neglected and allowed to pile up for so long. It's no wonder this world's environment is in poor condition. I don't think that's what she meant. What matters is why so much sunken debris rise to the surface without reason, right? Is it being stirred up by a giant sea monster? Now is the time to get scared of your Nile legends. The debris fished up resembles biological matter, did it not? Even then, so it's not possible. I believe it more for some kind of giant underwater machine, maybe. Should we not just go down and investigate for ourselves? Why scared we can't go that deep? Besides, we totally get crushed if we go in there. They talked about the joys of flight and argued over the rising tide. Lion and Trafalgar discussed something graver. Fish Governor, today noticed the debris is remarkably varied, and though the rust levels differ, I believe all of it is old. No aquatic flora or fauna rose with the debris either. One side of war may have used the poisonous weapon that killed everything in the water, along with their enemy. How long would it take to exterminate all life in the ocean? 10 years? 20? 50? The stress signal we received made it clear that a conflict was ongoing. Knowing what we know now, it apparently had overestimated their enemy, or maybe there was a particular space-time hypothesis. It was the Lighthouse of Alexandria, so you must understand. As in, time flows differently here? We'll have to find the locals and ask them about the situation. Agreed. We're still in the vast ocean. Our first priority is to find terra firma. Skies gray in all directions. As if someone's put a filter on them. Won't be able to navigate using the stars. Miss Carpenter, does the Mesa Tent have any cutting-edge technology geolocation equipment that can help us? We do have radars with strong scanning features. If we ascend to a high enough altitude and locating a continent may be feasible. Fishing will draw worldwide attention to us, though. It will cause more of emotion than we first arrived. Given the current mess we already face, we need to avoid using it unless absolutely necessary. For now, let's find clearer skies. The stars will have to do for now. After confirming the presence of X's subjugative growth on the island, Elizabeth... God, sorry. Doing these like 20 minutes after I wake up is not a good idea. Immediately after confirming the presence of X's subjugative corruption on the island, Elizabeth Beta immediately ordered everyone back to the Queen's Light. The train rode through the air, leaving the small island behind. The situation is grave. If X-like wreckage has already appeared here, this world may be too far gone. Elizabeth changed the plans. Even if that stress signal did come from survivors, there can't possibly be many left. I don't have any reason to establish a base or request aid at this point. Your Majesty, I don't understand. We came here to help as soon as we received the stress signal. Why didn't we make it in time? No matter how poorly the battle was going, we should have found some place where things were okay. The flow of time is unequal between worlds, but I understand your question. Patience. In the absence of mutual observation between worlds, The flow of time in the one you cannot observe is both immeasurable and fundamentally meaningless to you. In other words, you can only measure and discuss the one you can observe. To be honest, it is kind of freaky. Imagine if you got like a distress signal that actually came from that world like years ago. Just guided there to a broken world. I mean, I guess that's what this is, but like, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Your mistake is carrying a one-sided perspective into a second world. Your observations was now based on the target world, and you can no longer perceive the source world. The flow of time back home is now impossible to know. When you return home to the source world, it may have been worlds, or it may have been years, or it may have been mere seconds. Consider it entirely random and thus unpredictable. To avoid such a situation by using technology to observe the two worlds simultaneously and adjusting the ratio of time's flow. For example, Camelot and the Tower of Midgard built by your world's Iron Blood are two such machines. The main characteristic of such a machine is that must exist simultaneously in both worlds. The Tower of Midgard doesn't move, but the upgraded Camelot can. It also has the power to conceal its own existence. Furthermore, as far as we know, the Tower of Midgard only has the power to synchronize the flow of time between worlds. Meanwhile, the upgraded Camelot is able to make time flow anywhere from half as fast to twice as fast and localize the areas of both worlds. That's a little bit weird. This relates to further applications of mirror sea technology, so it may be too complex for you to understand. So what you're saying is the Royal Navy here doesn't have a device that can synchronize with us, and that's why that happened? Half correct. Now Wade and Elizabeth here have designated each other as partners for this process. She should have anticipated this. We once helped her build a basic synchronization device for this world. That device should have been able to mutually stabilize time between us within a set of geographic radius, avoiding extreme circumstances like the ones we face now. Means it must have been destroyed in the war. Indeed, some of this still eludes us. That's the most logical conclusion given the information we have. We're generating a topographical map based on the scanned results. It isn't finished yet. We can speculate that we should be in this world's North Atlantic Sea. As for the modified siren signal, it came from the location of the Royal Isles. Good news, more or less. Once the map is complete, shall we head directly to the London ports? Agreed. I can't take this seriously because, like, Trafalgar just has it pals. Many of the parts from the Mesictet's experimental phase were products of compromise. Not all of them could be said to be cutting-edge technology. Either cruising speed was low or the sea was too big. Either way, it took a while for the Mesictet to leave the rising tide's effective range. All the while, the sky above them remained a haze gray, day and night. Lion had grown sick of waiting, in order to ascend to high altitude. That's when they finally sighted the edge of land. Land! I see land! Finally. Let's have returned to the district. I'll need to recruit an aircraft carrier. Judging by its terrain, the island ahead of us appears to be the Isle of Wight. If so, the landmass beyond that should be the Royal Islands. We have returned home, Miss Governor. Using the word home to describe this place feels wrong. Wait a moment. We're flying towards the Isle of Wight, yes? Despite that, I cannot see any kind of landmass beyond the isle. Where is Europa? Or the Britannian Peninsula? Where has the Irish Orthodoxy gone? Good questions. Seems we cannot observe them due to some fault on our end. Yes. Unless the geography of this world's Royal Islands is completely inverse to ours, that shouldn't be possible. The notion that the entire continent of Europa has disappeared is, frankly, too far-fetched. Let's not jump to conclusions. Let's make landfall before anything else. You know the distress signal came from a Royal Navy source. We'll find answers if we ask around. Are Lion and Queen Elizabeth Meta in the same world or different worlds? As the message descended, the ship's sirens began to blare, indicating that the land of the island was emitting serious levels of radiation. Fortunately, the onboard barrier generator was able to protect against it. As it landed, it established a safe zone on the Isle's surface using its golden barrier. Cleopatra should have dad. Stay and watch the ship. Gallant, Trafalgar, you'll just embark with me. The barrier has limited range, so don't go too far from the ship. The island was uninhabited and desolated, with ruins as far as the eye could see. The word wasteland summed it up perfectly. And apparently nuked. Jesus. Although they identified this place as the Isle of Wight, it looked nothing like how they remembered it. What a horrific sight. One could presume there were no survivors. Although the wreckage has long faded away, there's still no sign of nature. No plants, not even a single insect. Same as the wreck we saw on the sea. Do you think it's linked to the radiation? We detected none on the wreckage. It's merely conjecture. First of all, we should collect samples and analyze them. The cycle will be in this world for a while, so we need to gather as much information as possible. Miss Governor, if it's samples you want, why not start over there? Let's look where Gallant was pointing. There was a small hill there, or rather, a massive thing that assumed the shape of a hill. My god! Is the thing the piece we retrieved came from? Incredible. It's just a carcass and more like a mountain of white rock that resembles some giant creature mixed with metal shards. Is it an artificial life form, or is it a machine? Security pup, that's just a sample. Security pup worked like normal even outside the barrier. Arrived at his destination and deployed as cutting implements. Then the earth began to quake, and to the group's amazement, the hill of mass started moving. Despite appearing to be made of marble, it extended several tentacles, much like a living creature. The metal shards were initially brown and scattered, then merged into one. Inside the bell giant began glowing with a blue light. Does that thing bring itself back to life? Let it, I say. I will test how powerful it is. Trafalgar fired a volley at the tentacle extending forward. Marcellus pierced through it and shattered it in the middle. See, it looks more threatening than it is. The attack seemed to stir something in the ancient creature. It smelled like pufferfish, which made the earth quaking even more violent. Still moving, are you? Then let's finish it. Trafalgar fired her main cannons again. No, wait. No matter how big this monster is, it can't possibly cause this earthquake by itself. Cleopatra, report on our surroundings, now! Miss Governor, the hostiles all around trying to revive themselves. Something's moving under the water, too. Please retreat at once for your own safety. A moment, please, Miss Governor. Our enemy isn't all that strong. It's worth engaging it at least once. When an enemy appears on the horizon, it is the Royal Navy's duty to face it. No, there are too many of them. Have you and the Mediterranean fleet been getting influenced by the bloody Sardendians? Face reality! Listen to my orders. Cleopatra, prepare for takeoff. Now, Trafalgar, come with me. We're retreating immediately. Concerning.